All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Green White Checkered TV. Tonight we have the Dark Horse Racing Area 51 Indy Series here tonight at Richmond Raceway. So it's going to be a very quick track here tonight. As you can see, just under 3/4 of a mile, 0.72 there. I say it's going to be a night event here as well, so temperature should be nice and cool. You see 65 degrees ambient. Track temp looks like it's actually right around 66 degrees, so not much difference there. So it's going to be nice and grippy for these guys tonight. And, well, I won't say grippy because I'll say in practice I have noticed some drivers definitely struggling a little bit here. Trying to keep those cars under wraps. Sounds like it definitely takes a few laps to get some heat built up in the tires before they can really start to kind of let these things wind up and get after it. But they're going to need to find something because the laps here, these guys, I mean, they're going to be running 17, 18-second laps under green. So I'll say it's going to be, these guys are going to be on the razor's edge here tonight. And of course, with the Indy Series, they do have the one faster pair. However, there are no green-white checkers here, so this race will run the 135 scheduled, and that will be it. But say coming into it, saying also another difference with this series to the other ones are no playoffs over here as well. And saying with that, we'll pull up our standings going into tonight. And the one thing to mention, of course, regular 12 race season, this is race number 9 of 12, but this does not account for a drop week as of yet. So right now, Nick DeGroot, Craig Forsyth only separated by 7 points. You see, it looks like a big jump to Scott Rankin there in third, 57 out of the lead. However, we haven't accounted for that drop week, and that drop week could jump him a fair bit back up the running order, getting rid of that worst race. And you see Jeff Heisung and Matt Wagner rounding out our top 5. And then you got 6th or 10th, you've got Jim Brooks, Yari Brupacher, Alec Coates, Joseph Morales, and then Eric Peterson. Unfortunately missing last week's race, but is back on track here, back in the field. And definitely want to give a special shout out to his dad as well. That's back at home, resting up and still getting back to 100%. So definitely glad to see you here as well, Mr. Peterson. And hopefully be able to watch and root your son on here tonight at Richmond. Had a chance to chat with him a little bit pre-race, and we wound up talking about cars and projects, and say it's just one of those fun hobbies. I say it seems like it kind of carries the father-son tradition. Say definitely something that my dad and my brother and we all share together as well. So pretty fun to see you guys doing it as well. So right now we have about 10 drivers of, I believe, about 17, if I'm not mistaken, that are in the field here tonight. 10 so far have taken laps. Still got, actually looks like about 4 more now starting to make some laps right now. And I think this is kind of a telltale. Usually we see drivers opt to maybe just start towards the back, just try to play it safe. But I think these guys know qualifying is going to be at the utmost importance here tonight. So I think qualifying track position is going to be extremely critical. I think pit strategy as well, going to be a big one here tonight. Probably about 50 to 60 laps on fuel. So most likely just outside the window of a one-stopper. But we'll see. And cautions, of course, will change everything. The question will be kind of how aggressive do some of these drivers be tonight on that pit strategy. Do we see everybody pit as soon as that window's open? Or do they maybe just try to kind of stay out and only pit under yellows to make sure that they don't get trapped multiple laps down? Because, again, running 17-second laps here, 18-second laps at Richmond, if you have to make a green flag pit stop and you get caught out by a caution, that could trap you at least 2 laps down. So I think that's going to be a very risky situation for these drivers here to have here tonight. And it looks like just about everybody has completed their laps here. Again, say just waiting for the timer to finish up here. Got about 20 seconds left. But yeah, it looks like everybody's gone ahead and they've kind of finished up the laps that they were looking for tonight. So yeah, so it looks like about 17 cars taking part tonight. Unfortunately, don't have Steve Gottschalk in the booth with me tonight. Had to take care of some things at home. So Steve, miss you, but definitely look forward to having you back on up in the booth with me here soon. We'll have some help in the booth here in a little bit, but same thing, kind of real life, setting them a little bit further back. So It's going to be I'm going to be rolling here solo a little bit, and Yari giving me some insight there in that 49. Unfortunately, mistake in qualifying. He's going to have to start towards the back of the field here. Mentioning got into 1 and 2, or got bended in qualifying, saying turns 1 and 2 are treacherous. So definitely, I definitely not surprised to see that. I've noticed that turn there, that angle you have to take, kind of the late apex, is going to be very treacherous here tonight. All right, so let's go and pull up our qualifying results for tonight. It's going to be on pole position at number 156 of Scott Rankin. Next to him is going to be Matt Wagner there in the number 6, just over a tenth and a half, or sorry, 100th and a half off. Then you got Alec Coates, Jim Brooks, Craig Forsyth, our top 5, and Eric Peterson, Jeff Heisong, Mike Gibson, a new name, new face to the league there in 8th. Anders Arhus, Yari Brupak rounding out our top 10. Then you got Gary Corley and Nick DeGroot there, 11th and 12th. And we'll run through the remainder of the field here. You got Andrew Wood, Jack Walls, Eric Schaus, Thaddeus McMurray, and Jib Herrick going to round out our 17 drivers here tonight. And let's say, talk about open wheel success. Let's say, and actually popping up in our chat here as well, Rick Ravon. Rick is by all means a pretty monster open wheel racer. So I'm glad to have you aboard here, Rick. As I know you got to race a little bit last week with Dark Horse over on Wednesday. Wasn't at all surprised to see you up there. I did all I could to try to keep up with you boys, but I definitely have some lessons to learn over there with these open wheelers, and it was a lot of fun having you, and a lot of fun having you here tonight as well. So hopefully you enjoy this one this evening. All right, so interesting development though. I see 2 drivers actually still that did not grid here. Not sure if it's some connectivity issues or what's going on. But Yari Brupak or Nick DeGroot on pit, or not on the grid here. So a little nervous, honestly, to kick things off here. And I'll say, also noticing again, I'm a little worried about some of the connectivity hiccups here and there that we're seeing. Noticed Scott Rankin and blinking a little bit. Talked to him just a little bit before the race. Some weather out in his area. Unfortunately, it sounds like some flooding as well, so definitely thinking of everybody out there in the Australia region. And say hopefully the flood's not affecting them too bad. So, but yeah, I'm a little curious about Yari and Nick here. Going to be interesting to say, always never want to really bring it up. But you talk about championship implications. Say Nick DeGroot, one of our points contenders coming into tonight's race. So say still got some races to go. But hopefully you'll see him able to start the race here, at least from the pits, and get rolling. Same thing for Yari there in that number 49 machine. So of course, today being the build day for iRacing, so I'll say a lot of updates, a lot of things. It's one of those things I always get a little nervous about, that kind of stuff, and have noticed that Yari has popped on track. He's sitting on pit road. Haven't seen Nick DeGroot yet at some point, so we'll definitely keep an eye on him here as well. And yeah, I'll see if I can get you. So I'll try to be quick on it here, Rick. If I can get you in at some point, maybe under a yellow. I'll say I'm also going to. I think my brother's supposed to hop in here as well to join the party once he gets off of work. But yeah, I'll see if I can get you in. And say definitely would love to get your insight, because you know these things pretty well. As here we go, the green flag is out and we are underway. It's going to be Scott Rankin, Matt Wagner leading the field to green. Then Alec Coates there already getting a good run into turn number 1. He's going to try to grab that number 2 spot here. So right now Scott's going to hold on to that lead. Matt was able to hold on to that second spot. And then right now Alec Coates just ahead of Jim Brooks there in third. But you can see already movement going on here. You've got Eric Peterson working the outside, Craig Forsyth to his inside. Craig able to jump around and grab that position for the time being. And again, this being a short track here, I say you're still going to want to find some clean air on the front wings of these cars. It's just going to be the big question of kind of where you need to position your car, where's going to be the best place. As right now, Jim putting a ton of pressure on that number 51, or sorry, the 51 putting a ton of pressure on the 3 there. And I say, so we'll see if he's able to make any moves here as of yet. But so far, Alec able to hold him off. But you can see quickly everything starting to single up a little bit towards the front here. As you see right there, Jim Herrick, Jack Walls fighting for a position there. It looks like Jack's able to hold on to Jim for the moment. As right now, say one of our closer battles here just further up is that one battle between Craig and Eric is now turned into a battle between Eric and Jeff Hysong here. But it does look like Eric's pretty committed here to be running this top line here. It seems like he wants to kind of keep that wheel a little bit open. You never want to put too much wheel in these cars. It really makes it sketchy on the exits. So I think that's exactly what we're seeing is now, again, that battle of Jim Brooks, Alec Coates. I think Jim just got underneath, but you can see not able to clear yet. A little bobble there for. But he's going to hang on to the inside line and might get the opportunity here, as he will now indeed clear that number 3, move that 51 up into that 3rd position, just about kisses the wall there out of 2. We'll have to keep an eye and see if that was enough to do any damage or if he's going to get away with that one unscathed. But that's how close these guys are going to be running with one another. Is now we mentioned Eric Peterson. He's now once again in the thick of it here now with Andrew Wood in that number 64. And Andrew right now on the charge here. 7 positions gained so far on these opening almost 10 laps now. Jeff Hysong trying to make a move there, had a moment trying to get around Anders Arhus, but as I say that though, Anders actually puts down a purple lap there for the fastest lap of the race, and as soon as I say that, Scott Rankin does exactly the same that in that 156, running a 17:49 there that time around, almost 2/10 of a second quicker than Matt Wagner. So I think those tires definitely starting to get up to temperature, and these guys starting to get pretty comfortable here. But these guys are starting to stacking up on one another again. This is where you got to try to find where you need to position your car here, just to try to find any little advantage you can to these guys up in front. As right now, lap time wise, these guys still running pretty solid laps with each other. As Scott though was mentioning his nerves about the connection issues, let's say he's had a little bit of a hiccup there. Now he's able to get back going again. As this time around, it's Andrew Wood putting down a purple lap there. As they say, while we were watching that battle a little further back, Andrew got around Craig Forsyth, already working his way up into that top 5, working on 4th place now of Alec Coates. And yeah, Andrew is on a charge right now, just trying to get everything he can here in these opening few laps. Right now, this is by far the closest battle on the track here, though, with Eric Peterson, Anders Arhus, and Jeff Hysong. These guys kind of just right on top of one another right now. Eric has that position. Anders trying to find a way to get around it, but hasn't found a way around that number 36 as of yet. But again, lap time-wise, these guys all pretty much on top of each other. Right now, running in just about the upper 18s to the upper 17s into the low 18s. I'd say the only 2 that have really kept the lap times up are really Andrew Wood, Scott Rankin, Matt Wagner still running. Well, actually, now I'd say that Jim Brooks as well. So now them going into the 1760s, 1750s. So it almost seems like these cars just kind of go through a little bit of a cycle, drop a little bit, but then pick up a ton of speed once again. But right now, say Anders putting all sorts of pressure still here on that 36. Going to try to run the low side here again, shorter distance around, but Eric's going to be able to keep some momentum. But actually, he's got a little bobble off of 2. That's going to allow Anders there to take advantage of that. He's going to jump now up into that 7th position. And that's all it takes, just that little bobble there. That's going to bring them back to them. But now, I'll say Jim Brooks, he's about to have a rear wing full of Andrew Wood, as that 64 is on a tear right now, trying to work his way through the field. And say not even a chance to get to the camera angle before he completes that pass move. Andrew now up into 3rd. That is 10 positions gained in 19 laps for that number 64. So yeah, Andrew definitely on a mission right now. And unfortunately, I need to mention Nick DeGroot still not out on track here. The other storyline right now, Jari Brupacher here, again, started from the pits. He has got a ton of pressure now behind him with Scott Rankin. And so this is, again, you just... what the strategy is here, because he's still on the lead lap, so I mean he is eligible here to try to fight and stay on that lead lap. Just in case of a yellow, you always want to try to be on the lead lap and not have to worry about that wave around. So I think that's where Yari needs to try to continue to fight like he is. but say obviously going to slow the pace of Scott Rankin down just a little bit here, as now Scott's going to get his nose just underneath here going into turn number 1. We'll see if Yari is able to get or has to give or not, but right now he's going to try to hold tight on that outside line. However, to no avail, Scott Rankin able to get by him, so move Yari down 1 lap, unfortunately, in that number 49. Say next on Scott's list here is going to be that 40 of Jim Herrick, which is about a straightaway ahead of of Scott here at the moment. But for Yari, that's going to be what he needs to keep an eye on, is to try to keep this momentum, keep tight to that number 156 as best as he can. But right now, Matt Wagner and Andrew Wood making some pretty quick ground on that number 49 machine. So you see again, right now, whatever Andrew Wood's got set up here, whatever, if he's found a magic setting on the ARB weight jacker, or if it's just he's got a feel for this car, I mean, he is on a mission right now. Like I mentioned, the lap times are very impressive. Even right now in the dirty air, just running a tick slower than that 156 of Scott Rankin, as now he's going to take a peek inside that number 6 car here entering 3. Yeah, I think Matt Wagner there just had to completely roll out of it, had no choice at that point to let him go. So now move Andrew up into 2nd position. Again, 11 positions gained so far in this one. So now, as I say, once he can get around this 49 of Yari Brupacher, that'll give him some clean running, and we can maybe see some comparable laps between that 156 and the 64. But even that last time by getting around Matt Wagner was only 1/100th of a second off of what that 156 was able to do. So I think right now advantage definitely looks to be in the hands of that 64 car. I say we'll hop on board here. So let's watch what he's doing here as he goes through the gears. You see he keeps it all the way up to 5th, drops it down to 4th through turn 1, does a late apex there, just kisses the yellow line there, and say then gets right back up through the gears again. So it looks like actually not even really touching 6th gear anymore, if at all. So something that maybe these other drivers may be doing the same. So you can see definitely really running the revs out all the way there, but you can see a really nice apex there through 1 and 2. I'm just able to cut it down right at the right time to keep that momentum built up on the exit, not have to keep the wheel too tight there. I think that's the big thing to carry that speed on exit, is just being able to open up that wheel. So we're going to jump a little further back because we got a good battle here. Gary Corley was working over Mike Gibson. I think had a little bobble there, drops a little bit back there. But say that right now you got Jack Walls, Mike Gibson, Gary Corley, Jim Herrick, all within just a couple of tenths of each other. And I'm saying that's with Scott Rankin starting to hound these guys down here, as we've already started lap number 31 of that 135. So we're getting close again. We've talked about pit stops probably in about the 50 to 60 lap range I was hearing. So we might see some pit stops here in the near future, as now Anders are who's starting to put some pressure on Alec Coates. However, we're going to have to jump back towards the front here soon, because Scott Rankin, he is under pressure. There is actually, who's that they got around? Oh, that was the 40 of Jim Herrick. I believe they just snuck by there. So unfortunately that puts Jim a lap down, but now Scott's got his hands full, because here comes that the 64 of Andrew Wood trying to catch that 156. So as battle for the lead continues, as say there's another battle starting to brew here. Jim Brooks starting to close up on Matt Wagner, but that may have been Matt just working his way around Yari. See, Jim's going to squeeze between Yari and the wall here, try to get around on the outside, but Yari going to hold on to that position. Jim's going to try to do the over-under on him, as right behind there you see the 3 and the 10. They continue to fight for position as well. So got a couple of battles on track here as Jim just clears Yari there. I'll say Honors still trying to put the pressure on as well, as he's now down to just a couple of tenths of a second behind here. This is about the best opportunity that Honors has had. He's going to peak low here. The outside momentum for Alec is going to hold on to that position, as right now Alec Coates continues to hold on to that top 5 position that Honors is trying to get to. But once again, we're going to jump back up front, because now Scott Rankin is in all sorts of traffic. You see right behind him there's that 64 looming large. As you see, he just gets around Jack Walls here, but again, you see up in front there, a little more traffic here. That is going to be, I believe, Mike Gibson in the 5 machine. That will be the next in line. But right now, I wonder if he's watching in front more than behind or not, because like I said, that 64 is just making great grounds right now as he starts to catch that 156 slowly but surely, as we're about to start the lap number 40 here of our scheduled 135. All right, can't get an update. Nick DeGroot, he is now back on track, or is on track, I should say now. Unfortunately, though, just rolling out here, starting lap number 41. So Nick going to be, again, I mean, at this point, it's just maybe see if he can at least get some sort of damage limitation. Unfortunately, not sure what happened for him to miss the start and to miss the opening 40, but I'm not sure if it's computer issues, network, or what. But definitely a disappointing one for Nick there. But again, might really tighten up the championship battle. We'll have to kind of keep an eye and see on that one. As we mentioned, he had about a 50-point margin over Scott coming into tonight, and Craig Forsyth was right there as well. But right now, Craig, our other championship contender, sitting in 7th position, so not the best night for Craig as of yet. As man, right in front of them, though, these guys are going at it right now, tooth and nail. Say again, and that's the thing, is there's battles going on all over right now. Say battles to try to beat that Lucky Dog, battles to try to for position, of course, as well. But right now, say this is by far the closest battle on track here, and this is the opportunity here now. Andrew Wood's going to look to the inside. Scott's going to try to work the outside. You can see the brakes glowing on these things. That's how much they're having to slow these cars down here. But right now, it's still at the moment that 156 going to hang on to the lead. You see one driver there drop to the inside, doesn't want to get into the fight right now. That was Thaddeus McMurray. But now for Thaddeus, though, he needs to stay aggressive here, because now he puts himself as the first car one down, and that's Mike Gibson right behind him. That is the Lucky Dog battle at the moment, because they have to go another couple of seconds before they would get to Eric Schaus in that 72 car. So right now, I'll say that's the Lucky Dog battles between that 37 and the 5. But right now, I'll say this is the battle on track, as super close there on entry. Yeah, right now Andrew is putting all the pressure he can on Scott Rankin, and Scott's going to do everything he can to try to hold him off. But yeah, right now it is definitely a battle. And actually, do need to mention, it looks like Anders Arhus has finally gotten around Alec Coates, but now Alec Coates going to try to keep him honest in that number 3 as well. So move Anders up back into the top 5 right now. You see Craig Forsyth starting to join that battle as well here, right outside that top 5. Saying as we get ever closer here to that potential of a green flag pit stop, strategy is going to be important here. We don't know for sure. Again, we don't know what kind of fuel mixtures some of these drivers are running. Some of these guys might be trying to stay full rich, full aggressive, burning a little bit extra fuel than some of these other drivers. Maybe going into a higher map. That map, you can go, of course, map 1 through 5. 1 being the richest map, which burns the most fuel. Map 5 being the leanest non-caution fuel map, which is going to save you the most fuel. And we talked about going into tonight, as hearing the fuel numbers, it was probably borderline on making it on a one-stopper. Again, 135 lap race here tonight. So say again, try to do some rough fuel numbers here. Would think you need to go about 68 laps. I would say, yeah, 68 laps should be just about to split it evenly to be able to make it on one stopper. So I think that's going to be a big one to watch for, is that window between 68 or so. If they come in earlier or at that point, that could be the difference between a 1-stop and a 2-stop at the moment, of course, based on the way this thing is going green as of right now. As you can see, Scott Rankin, though, Andrew, they have already caught that number 72 of Eric Schaus to try to put that number 72, who is in the top 10 right now, 1 lap down. You see right there, Scott had lost a little momentum there trying to work around that 72, and that gave Andrew an opportunity there to, as they say, that Eric Schaus just kisses the wall there. It looked like off of turn 2, just out of the groove, probably in the marbles a little bit. Maybe just got a little bit of the wall there off of turn number 2. But looks like he's able to kind of regroup and continue on, as now they're working around Gary Corley there in the number 7. I say Gary's going to go, I believe, 2 laps down now in that number 7. I think he's also trying to limp that car along a little bit longer than he would like to, but I think now he's going to give in and hit pit road in that number 7. So he's going to be one of the first drivers to hit pit road under green flag conditions here, which again, we talked about him just going 2 down at the moment. So we'll have to keep an eye and see if he goes any further down. So, and while we were doing that here, we were mentioning in the chat, Rick Raven was watching over here. So what better way to do things than to bring you up into the booth here, Rick? And I mean, so far clean and green. We'll see if anything changes, but these guys, I mean, this is a big fight right now though between Scott and Andrew.
I'll tell you what, Andrew is just giving Scott everything he can handle right now. We're on lap 57, guys, and we're at Richmond and yet to have a yellow flag. That is just astounding. What a great job everybody's doing. As Scott Rankin calls out, he's pitting right now. Here he comes.
That's the big storyline right now, is the fact that he is hitting pit road. He said, and it looks like the entry looks like it's going to be entering 3, not off of 4. Just kind of, I think, allowed a little bit of safety there, as it looked like he was a little tight there, almost flirted with those pit barrels there. So the question I think though here for you, Rick, is do you think anybody's going to be trying to do some big fuel saving numbers and try to see if they can find a way to one-stop this thing?
Well, it's absolutely possible. I mean, we're right on lap 60 right now. So if you double that, that's 120. And on a track like this, it's such a small track. It's definitely possible. I don't know who's conserving fuel right now, but I think it's definitely possible to do this on a one-stopper. But you're going to fall pretty far behind.
Yeah, it's definitely a big risk first reward, of course, losing pace. And as they didn't mention Craig Forsyth, he's hit pit road as well. So those that have hit pit road, Scott Rankin, Jim Brooks have hit pit road now. Also just mentioned Craig Forsyth. Unfortunately, it looks like a long pit stop for Eric Peterson. I believe most likely a speeding penalty or an unsafe entry for that 36 car. So that's going to drop him numerous laps down. But that was the question I was going to have, is if you go 1 or 2 down, and Scott Rankin right now right on the edge of the tail end of that 1 lap down, almost to getting to 2 down. So that's how close it is. It looks like just about a 2-lap loss under green flag conditions.
Well, Andrew Wood right now has yet to pit. He's got a lap on everybody but Matt Wagner in second place, and it looks like, yep, Wood is coming into the pits right now.
Yeah, so this will be his scheduled stop, and this is at 63, so it's about 5 short of splitting it in the middle like we talked about. But you mentioned the one driver that hadn't been lapped yet, Matt Wagner now. He takes over the lead, and saying, again, watching lap times, you never know what's pace or what's strategy right now. I mean, we know Matt's one of the top open wheel racers here as well. And I noticed he was just a couple of tenths off of what Andrew was running there, so I'm wondering if this is just him just backing it down and just really trying to keep that fuel number in a good spot. Because I think he's thinking big picture. He's definitely been burned before, unfortunately, on fuel mileage races, and I think that's what he's got in his mind right now, is like, hey, I want to get one of these under fuel mileage if things play out the right way.
Ooh. Andrew Wood, he got sideways coming out of the pits. I'm looking behind for Scott Rankin because that was the battle for the lead. And it looks like he's going to come out, I wouldn't say well ahead of Rankin, but he's definitely got about a half a straightaway on him.
Yeah, it's a big gain through the pit stops. And something I just caught at the quarter.
We got pieces on the racetrack. There was an accident somewhere.
Yeah, Alec Coates had something happen. And try to see if I can catch where it happened there with that number 3. So I'm going to jump back here and take a look as they are heading through the backstretch here. So just kind of backing up and just trying to guess at this point. And see if we can find exactly what happens to that 3 car. Right now, just kind of running through the replay here, see if I can find exactly. As he is on pit road now to getting service done to that 3 car, and it looks like there's still nothing.
Meanwhile, I've got some news for you. Matt Wagner, if I'm not mistaken, Wagner has yet to pit, and we're on lap 69. That's past the halfway point.
Oh,
Wagner, if he didn't pit yet, he can make it to the end.
Oh, just big loose there for the 3 entering turn number 1, 2. A little bit of contact with the 10. It actually does a 360 and keeps it pointing straight. Actually, honestly, surprised the yellow didn't come out from that. But yeah, you're right, though. Matt Wagner still out. Actually, Thaddeus McMurray, Jack Walls as well. But like you said, though, Matt Wagner, he's got a 17-second margin on second place right now. And like you said, I mean, we're down to 66 to go, and that 6 car is still making some laps. As now he's going to hit pit road. And that was tight on entry, but it looks like he's going to get in cleanly. So Matt definitely stretching the field numbers here.
Matt is in the catbird seat right now. He definitely has the advantage. If Wood wants to make it to the end, he's going to have to conserve from here. but Wagner also has the pace. Wood can't keep up the pace that he had in that first stint and make it to the end. He just can't do it. I think Wagner's in the catbird seat.
Yeah, so Matt's definitely in a great spot right now. It'll be interesting to see where he cycles out after his pit stop in relation to our leaders. I'll say that's the only risk, of course, is running long, is kind of getting trapped in a bad spot right now. Jack Walls is going to cycle through as our leader for the moment, as he's still yet to pit as well. I'll say Jack's one of the notorious fuel savers in the league. It doesn't matter if it's Indy cars, stock cars, or what type of track. That 83 always finds a way to sip fuel. So he's definitely, I think he's just trying to stretch this thing as long as he can. Maybe try to trap some competition a lap down, but then also see if he can just get a lucky break with that yellow, which again, we almost saw with Alec Coates there. Honestly surprised it didn't throw him. So he did a bit of a 360 in 1 and 2, but was quick to recover, and that's what let this race stay green.
I don't know what Jack Walls has as far as pace is concerned, but Matt Wagner definitely had him by, I think it was, 15 seconds before they pitted?
Yeah, it was a significant margin. Yeah, so
they could both make it to the end. The only problem is he's going to have to make up that 15-second margin if he expects to beat Wagner.
Yeah, and I think right now Jack probably on his own pit strategy right now is just like kind of one of those things where you kind of run your own race, because actually Jack was one of the ones that started towards the back right now. He's up 13 spots from, it looks like, the 14th position where he started, whereas Matt Wagner started up in about second position. I'm sorry, yeah, front row. I think Jack may have tried to hit pit road there and just overshot it, so he's going to have to try to see if he can run this one more lap without running out of fuel here. So we're going to watch this number 83, because already a battle or a pass for the lead there with Andrew Wood getting around.
Well, he's going to make it around again, and he's going to make it to the pits, so that's good news for Jack Walls. But Andrew Wood picks up the lead, and it looks like Scott Rankin's going to fall back in second place.
Yeah.
And how far behind Wood is Rankin? 3.5 seconds, it looks like.
Yeah, pretty decent margin there, like you said. So probably a really good, actually looking at the pit lane time, can say right there that that Andrew's able to gain a second on pit lane, 38 seconds to 39 seconds between the two of them. And then, yeah, you mentioned there for Matt Wagner, he's going to cycle through this thing in 4th position. He's got a big margin. He's got about 14 seconds back to Andrew Wood. But like you said, if Andrew wants to try to stretch this thing to the end, he's going to have to really take it down a notch on the fuel numbers on that fuel map, run a lot slower laps. Whereas Matt probably can turn the wick up a fair bit on this thing now, say doing all the kind of the dirty work early there, if you will. Might be able to start being kind of go more on the aggressive side here, but right now he's in a bit of traffic, and that's not going to help his progress.
Well, this could be really interesting as far as Andrew Wood's concerned. I don't know what's on Scott Rankin's mind, but neither one of them made it to the halfway point. But could they conserve fuel as quick as both of them were? Of course, Rankin being your pole sitter definitely has the pace. We know that. These two ran 1-2 for majority of the first stint. Will they be able to conserve fuel and still have the pace to, let's say, finish ahead of Matt Wagner by the end of this thing? I don't know. It's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, and that's what I was about to mention. I was looking at the intervals right now, because it's basically about a straightaway lead for Matt Wagner just to be on the lead lap right now. Because as Andrew Wood here comes out of turn number 2, Matt Wagner's just entering turn number 3. So it's really not a big margin for Matt. So right now he's still trying to work over that 3 here of Alec Coates. So I'd say, like I said, I think the traffic right now is actually Matt's biggest hindrance. He needs to try to maybe force the issue just a little bit, get some clean air, and then be able to start to turn some big laps there.
Well, Wagner has the pace. There's no question about that. Wagner's fast everywhere he goes. But I'm going to keep an eye on this distance, because if Andrew Wood is starting to conserve fuel, and I think he has to, he doesn't have a choice at this point, knowing that Matt Wagner was able to make it past the halfway point, Wagner can dial it up and maybe start to reel in Wood, so we could have a real race on our hands before this one's over.
Yeah, so definitely, and that's the thing is, while the intervals are spread out right now, yeah, there's still a pretty big fight going on. I say it's almost turned into more of a strategy races. I saw one driver get real loose there in 3.
Oh, we got a car in the wall.
Yeah, I think I saw it was Jack Walls. I believe it was with Jack, and that's going to bring the yellow out.
Comes out.
So yeah, and I think that was contact between Anders and Jack Walls there. I think just the pace difference between the two here. So we'll pick it back up here and take a look here as he enters turn number 1. Actually, I'm way off here, it looks like.
Kind of ironic the name Jack Walls ended up in the wall.
Yeah, that's not the way you want it to happen.
I'm sure that's not the first time he's heard that either.
Actually, okay.
Oh, and Matt Wagner just came on the radio. He's very upset about this yellow because he felt like he was in really good shape on fuel strategy. Matter of fact, here comes Andrew Wood. He's coming into the pits. Now, Wagner's going to have to come in, too, along with Rankin, because you don't want to, even though you can make it to the end, these guys will be able to make it to the end, but if they have fresher tires than you, they'll just run you down and steamroll you.
Yeah, so I'm trying to go back to find where the incident happened. So I didn't go, or went too far back. It looks like something. Go back here and take a better look at it here. I say, yeah, here's the contact as they're entering turn number 3. And yeah, just pace difference was what it was there. And I think Jack was trying to give Honors the spot there. And unfortunately, just a bit of a misjudgment there. I mean, again, we talked about how big the closing rates are. But yeah, you're right, though. We'll jump back here because you mentioned pit stops. And it looks like Andrew's going to win that race off of pit road. A little surprised there, I must admit, though. I really thought at that point, why not for Matt Wagner? Why not stay out there and just keep the track position? You've got the fuel to the end. Do you think tires are going to be that critical here?
Absolutely. Absolutely, especially considering the pace that Wood has and the pace that Rankin has. You don't want those guys behind you on fresh tires when you're just out there trying to survive.
Okay, yes, and that's where I say it's good to have your insight here. You're definitely familiar on the open wheel side of things.
Especially here at Richmond. Richmond is really hard on tires.
I think that's the big thing.
I haven't driven this particular setup. It might be a little bit nicer on the tires, but from what I know about Richmond is really, really rough on tires.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably the case for short tracks in general, is that it's really easy to burn the tires off, either front or rear, just depending really how you drive the thing. Yeah, I think that might be more in my mind. I'm going back to like the big tracks like the auto clubs in Michigan, where it's like, oh yeah, just track position. You want to kind of stay up front, keep the cleaner on your front wing and all that. But you're right though. Say Richmond here, a completely different animal. So like I said, when you're running 17, 18 second laps, tires probably make a pretty big difference here.
Yeah, they definitely do. I'm taking a look through the field here. Right now, Andrew Wood's got the lead. Scott Rankin, our pole sitter, sits in second. Jim Brooks, what a great job for Jim today. He's sitting in third place. Matt Wagner is in fourth. Craig Forsyth is fifth. And now everybody can make it to the end.
Yeah, definitely no question marks on fuel. A few strategy calls here, which I definitely agree with at this point. Eric Schaus, he's going to stay out, try to get that wave around, get back on the lead lap, I should say. Same thing for Thaddeus McMurray. He's going to put the two of them on the lead lap. And then a few drivers here, unfortunately, trapped a lap down there. Anders Arhusen, that number 10, Mike Gibson. But there's a few that I believe are going to go from 2 down to 1 down. Jim Herrick actually being one of those, was 2 laps down this wave around. Is going to put him back to 1 down, which opens up a lot of opportunities in case. And I mean, again, with racing the way it is, the aggression is going to ramp up towards the closing portion of this race, and definitely opens up potential for some more yellows.
Here comes the wave around. Nick DeGroot comes around. Eric Schaus comes around. Jim Herrick. Thaddeus McMurray, I think pronounce his name, Thaddeus?
Yep.
He comes around. That's going to leave Andrew Wood, Scott Rankin, Jim Brooks, Matt Wagner, Forsyth. All of these guys are right behind the pace car, and we're going green this time.
Yeah, Ben saying, like, and we were talking about, 17, 18 second laps. We're already down into the 40s to go here. Again, 135 lap race. We're down to 45 to go at this restart. Saying again, control car here, and it actually goes a little early there of Andrew Wood. I think caught Scott Rankin a little bit there.
Yeah, and Rankin got a little bit loose under acceleration. I don't think he expected Wood to accelerate so early, but he did. Maybe caught Rankin a little bit off guard. He got a little bit squirrely.
Oh, we got trouble in the backstretch. Couldn't tell where it was or who it was. But I believe maybe back to yellow. Yeah, caution is back out, and I think it may have been
Yari Brupatcher.
Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, it looks like Yari involved in that one. And, yeah, it looks like some left front damage. And that was the gamble, and it works out in perfection for those that went ahead and took that wave around here. Also seeing Eric Peterson still on pit road. Not sure if related or if he had to step away, but we'll go back here and try to see what exactly happened for this on this restart here to Yari there.
What happened to Yari was he simply was coming off turn 2, applied the power on cold tires a little bit too early, and the back end got away from him.
Oh, yeah, you can see it right there. Just steps out on him completely. And, yeah, at that point, you can lock it down. You can do whatever you want. You're just going to be along for the ride. But, yeah, the wave rounds we just talked about there, that's perfection for them. So it puts Eric Schaus now back on the lead lap. Now he can get tires and fuel there. And then actually, surprisingly to me at least, Status is going to stay out here. I thought he would take advantage and take the tires and fuel there in that 37 car, but he stays out. And then also those ones that took the wave around to get back to 1 down, like Jim Herrick, that also puts him now back, like I said, back to 1 down and also on the same sequence as these guys. And looks like we do have 2 retirements. Gary Corley retired a fair bit earlier, unfortunately. And then also now, was just mentioning about Eric Peterson, he is also now out of this one as well. So leaves us still 15 cars on track, 9 of which on the lead lap here.
Yeah, I don't know if you mentioned earlier, but Eric Peterson's dad has been having some difficulties. He's been very sick. So everybody that's watching, I know that the drivers, everybody that's involved, everybody's really pulling for him. Let's keep him in your prayers.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's unfortunate to say Eric missing last week, but so, I mean, it was for a good reason the last week because his dad was actually out of the hospital and was back at home, and so I was talking to Eric a little bit pre-race as well, and I mean, we kind of went back and forth a little bit, and so yeah, so definitely making the right steps forward. So yeah, exactly right. Definitely thinking of him and the family, and hopefully it's say things keep continuing their trend the way they are right now and getting better.
Well, it's good to see Eric out here because, I've found in my personal life that no matter what you're going through, sim racing is really a nice escape from reality. So it's good to see them getting back out there, and it's just good to see him out there.
Yeah, and saying, like I said, it's a good break, and also, I mean, you think about the leagues and the groups and the friendships you form. I mean, so that's the thing is, I mean, he's got a great support group over here at Area 51, over on Dark Horse on the Wednesday nights as well. I mean, and I think that does as much as anything for these guys. So, yeah, it's really good to have that group of friends and just kind of friends, family, with whatever it may be that kind of these leagues and everything turns into. So it's always good to have those shoulders to lean on when you need them.
Yeah, speaking of that, I'm listening to Andrew Wood and Scott Rankin and a few others really just complimenting each other on the pace of the race and the fact that they went so long without a yellow flag. So you were speaking about friendships. These guys, they just have the utmost respect for one another, and they are good friends. On the racetrack, obviously, in a way, they're kind of deadly enemies, but off the racetrack and under yellow flags, as I'm listening to, definitely great friends out there. They're just having a great time.
Yeah, and that's what's fun about these groups of guys is that, I mean, you see, again, I mean, between Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, a lot of these guys race with each other in various leagues, and so they know each other almost inside and out too. But yeah, I mean, obviously there's always going to be that competitive fire inside each driver, but it's at the same time, I mean, you see the camaraderie, you see kind of the give and take when it's needed, and of course then when it gets towards the end, they kind of go no holds barred here. But all right, so Andrew's able to snooker him the first time, and it looks like this time he's a little better restart there for Scott there, but again, Andrew wasting no time to get that hammer down.
Now, so, Andrew Wood is always, as long as he's leading, well, anybody who's leading is going to have the advantage because you're the first one on the gas. Everybody has to react to you. So no matter what happens, the leader's always going to jump to a good lead. Yeah,
you can try to anticipate that only goes so far from time to time, but the other thing that kind of we got away from all that was we had mentioned Matt Wagner on that restart. He's actually dropped back a little bit now, back into 5th. I think Craig Forsyth able to get around him on the previous restart. So you mentioned his frustrations after that yellow there, thinking he was in the catbird seat. One of those was like, oh man, if not for this, then I would have been right in the thick of it. But man, a little bobble there for Scott Rankin. That's put Jim Brooks right on his rear wing.
Yeah, Rankin's, whoa, that was close. Boy, I'll tell you, Brooks really got close to the rear wing of Rankin there. But Rankin's been running a high line pretty much all night. And I was trying to figure out why when Wood was reeling him in, Wood was running low and he was catching Rankin, and Rankin was running the high line. And what I would have been doing is feeding Wood as much dirty air as I possibly could to keep him back there, knowing that Wood was running that low line, but Rankin was staying high. It's working for him right now. He's holding Jim Brooks back there.
Yes, and I think, yeah, exactly right. It's like, okay, that they got around me that time. I'm not going to make that same mistake twice. So yeah, definitely holding the bottom. But you see Jim, he's moving around now. He's trying to work maybe about a half groove higher. Like you said, try to get that fresh air in the wing. And here you see Scott maybe run a little deep there in entry, and Jim able to take advantage, does a nice late apex, cuts it in, and brings it right back to that rear. Now Andrew moves to the top again, as you see, Jim gets right on the absolute edge there, right behind him.
Now Wood has a almost 2-second lead right now over Rankin. Rankin has his hands full with Jim Brooks. The rest of the field is fairly well spread out at the moment, as you see Rankin again with the high line, and Brooks starts to reel him in, but then Rankin pulls away on a straightaway just a bit.
Yeah, I think that's where the high line really comes into play, is you get that kind of that forward momentum on the exit, kind of open the wheel up a little more, be able to keep the power down. It seems like it's been really working well there, and I say and for Jim, it's kind of a guessing game. You don't know what line Scott's going to run when. So as you saw that last time, Scott ran actually the low side in 3 and 4, again low here in 1 and 2, and now he's able to build a little bit of a margin to that number 51. As like I said, though, Andrew is just on a roll right now. He's been putting down some purple laps here this time around, a 17:20. I mean, he's just on a tear right now, so already catching some traffic.
Yeah, well, when I saw earlier, Scott Rankin was on the pole, so he's obviously got speed. But when I saw Wood running him down, in the IR18s, they allow you to adjust the front and rear roll bars and the weight jacker. It's the only adjustment you can make with a quote-unquote fixed setup. Obviously, it seems like Wood has just got that, got those adjustments absolutely nailed. He's got it down perfect.
Yeah, say whatever the magic settings were, it definitely looks like Andrew's found it tonight. So he'll probably have a few guys hit him up after the race, like, man, what were you running? Because whatever I was running wasn't doing what you could do.
No doubt.
Now you got Matt Wagner, though. He's starting to put the pressure onto Craig Forsyth here. This is the battle to try to get that 4th position between that 27 and the 6 car here. As we're already down to it, though. I mean, we're at 27 to go here.
Yep, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, and this ain't going to be pretty. Nah, it'll be fine.
Oh, a little bobble for Jim Brooks. It cost him a ton of momentum off of 2. You saw Craig go to the outside, Matt to the inside.
They split him.
I don't think he had any contact. I think just he had to roll out of it completely to avoid contact with that wall. That drops him from 3rd to 5th there in just one set of turns there. So not what Jim was looking for there. So you never want to have those little mistakes, especially towards the latter half of the race when everybody's gonna be fighting just that little bit extra to try to hold on to those positions. You maybe got those tires a little bit too hot trying to get around Scott Rankin for 2nd.
Yeah, it could be. And Scott Rankin is got to be breathing a little bit of a sigh of relief because Brooks was all over him. And wow, Forsyth almost hit the wall coming off a 2 right there. It looks like if it stays this way, nobody's got the pace on Wood. Rankin's the closest one to him. They should finish 1-2 if everything stays the way it is as far as pace is concerned. But right now we have Forsyth and a fire-breathing Matt Wagner right behind Forsyth looking to get on that podium.
Yeah, so Matt's going to want to get anything and everything he can on this one. And you're right. I mean, right now, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, I mean, they're still all within about a half a second of each other. Jeff Heisong's starting to creep himself into the picture as well there in 6th there, that 18 just in the background there. And then, like I said, from there, he took a peek, but Craig shut the door there entering 3. Craig is going to fight for everything he can because, again, that championship battle, he's got to take for Craig. I mean, this is a great opportunity to say, again, Nick missing the start of the race here. He's going to looks like finish down in about the 15th or so position. I mean, this is Craig. He's got to capitalize. But at the same time, though, here, I mean, do you go big picture, Ricky, and say, hey, you know what? If I finish 4th instead of 3rd, that's still a good day over what it could be if I get contact? Or do you just stay full attack and just hold on to every spot you can here?
Well, it depends on the personality. If I know Matt Wagner, and I just love that guy. He's got to be one of the most chill sim racers I've ever raced with. He wants to get out there and he wants to gain as many positions as he can. And the other thing you have to consider is that Craig Forsyth is a quality racer, so he doesn't have to worry about Forsyth, running him off the road or something like that. You can battle with Forsyth, and if you can get the position, he'll fight you for it, but he's not going to run into you or anything like that. So I'm sure that Matt Wagner has full confidence battling here for 3rd place with Craig Forsyth. Yeah,
so you can tell Matt's going after it a few times now. He's had a bit of a handful out of 2, just trying to kind of get that throttle planted down as hard as he can. But like I said up front, though, I mean, Andrew Wood, he's pretty much taken his toys and he's gone home at this point. So we're down to under 20 to go here, and again, Matt's right on that rear wing of the 27 car, but Craig so far has been able to play defense perfectly. Matt's just trying to find the right move to find a way to sneak around that 27, but hasn't had it yet. And then just behind them, Jeff Heisong starting to creep in on Jim Brooks as well a little bit. It's down to about a half a second between that 18 and the 51.
Oh, he might get a nose on him this time. Matt Wagner looks to the inside. Forsythe runs high. Oh, Wagner this is his best opportunity right now to get the job done, but Forsythe comes off the corner high, keeps the momentum rolling, and keeps the position. Wow. Yeah,
that was exactly it, keeping that power down and able to keep that momentum up. Matt had to keep the wheel just a little bit, turned a little longer, couldn't get the power down as much as he wanted to, and that allowed Craig to get that little bit of traction off exit, I should say, a little better than that 6 car, and they're able to hold on to that top 3 for the moment.
Yeah, this is the battle right now. We're on lap 121, so I guess we have 13 to go. First place, Andrew Wood. He's got this thing locked up as long as he keeps it on the dance floor. Scott Rankin is solidly in second place. Right now, this is the battle. Everybody else is fairly sprung. Well, you have Jim Brooks and Jeff Heisong. They're running pretty close together as well.
Yeah, so it's battle for third and a battle for fifth right now are definitely by far the closest battles on track. But you're right. I mean, for Andrew Wood here, he's just got to be smart here because he has been working through some traffic a little bit. Just got around Yari there in the 49. He's got the number 5 coming up next to Mike Gibson. But yeah, Matt's right back after it here. He's going to try again here to see if he can make a move. Peeks to the inside. Craig covers it here. But it looks like it may have... Nope, looks like Craig's going to get throttled down. Looked like he may have impeded his exit a little bit, but he's done a good job to keep that power down.
It's the same move that Wagner has tried multiple times, and Forsythe has kind of gotten used to it. He knows that once the nose goes down there, he's just going to... Yeah, you know, Wagner's been giving him a lot of room going into that corner, so he's being very respectful. A lesser driver might try to jam it in there, but not Matt Wagner. He's being very smart about this.
Yeah, I mean, you know you're going to race him hard, but you know he's going to race you fair. And that's really all you can ask for in a competitor, really, is to have that combo. And that's going to be the question, though. Does Matt at some point, does he need to try to switch it up? Like you said, Craig's maybe gotten, okay, he's going to try this. I've been able to hold it off so far. As I said, I was going to say, maybe Matt tries to roll the top a little bit, and he got a great run there through 1 and 2. I think there may be something there if he can work that second lane just a little bit more here. Maybe see if he can find a way to sneak on the outside of that 27.
Well, you know what? I think that Wagner has the pace on Forsythe. Forsythe has been playing it very smart, just kind of hogging that low line down there. I get the feeling if Wagner was to try up high, he might get a run coming off the corner and get him going into turn 1. But so far, he hasn't given that a shot.
Yeah, I was saying the crazy part is he's going to have maybe about 45 seconds to try it because we're down to 7 to go as our leader just crossed the start-finish line here. As real close there off of 2 there. I say it's hard to break away from this battle because these guys have been putting on a show here for these last 15 laps.
Here he comes. He finally has a good run coming off the corner. Forsythe, again, plays it smart. Just kind of leans to the inside. Wagner on the outside. Could he get him this time? This time he's finally trying the outside line. Forsythe kind of squeezes him up to the wall. Wagner, once again on the outside. He might have the momentum coming off the corner this time.
It was close. He just had the nose ahead there. If he can just get his rear wing to him, there you go. He's going to send it deep there into 1 and 2. Now he's just got to try to keep that throttle down and keep that 27 pinned to the inside, force him to kind of keep that wheel tight. And this might be Matt's opportunity here to grab that third position. He's got him out of 4.
Well, that's what I said. He should try the outside line because he's got the pace. He finally did, and around he went. That was a nice pass.
Yeah, really, really good move there by that 6 car. Like I said, it's one of those things where I say it might be one of those. It helps heal the wounds a little bit there when you're able to make a big move like that. It feels good. So of course, say if he's able to hold him to his third spot, we'll be able to have a chat with him. I think he's going to kind of rue what could have been if not for that yellow. But I mean, it's still a great recovery to go back from that restart from about. Actually, caution out here. It looks like the 83 of Jack Walls. But that's it though. Yeah, there's no green light checkers here, so this is going to finish under yellow. It looks like, and I believe it may have been Jack Walls, Jim Herrick possibly. We'll go back and try to take a look at this yellow here to see what exactly happened for the contact. So I'm actually watching Jack here because he was just ahead of our leader, I believe there.
Oh, it looks like Jack Walls just caught the apron. He caught the apron. You want to stay far away from the apron on this.
Yeah, and I think that was just him playing too nice. He saw he had the leader to his outside. It's closing time of the race, and you just know it's like, all right, I gotta play it safe. I don't want to affect the outcome. And oh, actually, there was the contact afterwards. Jim Herrick, unfortunately, he gets into the side. So that was what caught Jim involved there as well. So, but yeah, so we'll jump back live here because we've been going about 180 or so this whole time. We're on the one to go here, and I say now it's just a procession to the end. Andrew Wood going to get that win tonight over Scott Rankin, and Matt Wagner. I mean, he timed that move just at the edge of time there to sneak around Craig Forsyth to get that top three. Yeah, it's an impressive win, though, for Andrew Wood to start from 13th to get to the front as quick as he did, and then a great pit stop cycle, obviously, as well to get to the front. And then from there, just, kind of set sail. And I think that question mark of the race would just be that one yellow there, the timing of it. Would it have affected the outcome? Could Matt have been able to? Would they have backed it down or not? I'll say that those be things we'll have to talk to Andrew and Scott about to see what they would have done there had it gone green to the end. Could they have stopped it? But Andrew Wood here, he's gonna go around and celebrate here.
There's the checkered. Andrew Wood is your winner. Scott Rankin comes home in second. Matt Wagner third. Craig Forsyth fourth, and Jim Brooks. And right now, well, here comes Rankin alongside of Wood to offer congratulations. Rankin, incidentally, was calling out to Wood and said, "What the hell did you do to that car? What did you do to that car?"
Yeah, no, I'm on that boat too, because whatever he was doing, it was working. So I said we'll pull up our results here real quick before we get to those interviews. As Andrew Wood gets the win under yellow over Scott Rankin, Matt Wagner there in third, then Craig Forsyth, Jim Brooks round out our top five. So as we watch the celebrations here at the start-finish line, you've got Jeff Heisong, Eric Schaus recovers to finish seventh. Then you got Anders Arhus, Thaddeus McMurray, Mike Gibson finish in our top 10. And then Alec Coates, Yari Brupacher, Jim Herrick, Jack Walls, Nick DeGroot, Eric Peterson, and Gary Corley, the remainder of our finishers here tonight.
So, as we watch that beautiful car number 64 take the Polish victory lap.
Now, we're going to pull some drivers up and have some chats with them. We're going to kick things off with that number 11 here of Matt Wagner. So let me hunt him on down. We'll be able to pull him on in.
Number 6.
There he is. All right, let's grab Matt Wagner on in. And Matt, this is going to be, I'm sure, a bittersweet podium for you. A great result. First off, I mean, hats off to the race tonight, which you're able to pull off. Obviously, the yellow, the last thing you're hoping to see, because you kind of did the dirty work early. You ran your field numbers. You stretched it past halfway. Rick and I were watching that and making note of the mileage you were running. At that point, when you had pitted, were you going to be able to go full rich to the end? Were you still having to save a little bit just to make sure? Or I mean, what was the strategy after that pit stop there?
I can go a few rich for about 15 laps, and after that, I can back her down a little bit. What I was told that Andrew said he could make it the rest of the way, so it was more like a bummer to us. Well, I kind of wish that we would have had a green flag run to the end just to see what would have happened. But
well, that's what we were looking forward to as well, because I said you were in the catbird seat there, Matt, because you made it halfway. And the guy that was closest to you was about 15 seconds back. I forget his name, but I said, you know what? I think Matt might be in the catbird seat because the other guys still have to pit.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Andrew would have made it, but I had no idea what lap he pitted. I know as soon as I crossed the halfway point, I said, okay, I'm going to pit. I got 2 more laps of fuel. I should be fine. So I know I can turn it up just a little bit and catch up if I have to. Yeah, you never know how these races turn out.
Well, how about that pass, that battle with Craig Forsyth? We were watching it, and it's almost as if you heard what I said, because I had just said, I don't know why Matt doesn't try the outside, because he's working so good. He just keeps sticking it down there, and he's getting fed that dirty air. If he just tries the outside, because Craig was kind of, hogging the inside there, which is his right to do, he was leading in front of you. As soon as you went to the outside, as soon as I said that, you went to the outside and pulled off a great pass.
Yeah, I felt like in that braking zone there, I felt like dirty air wasn't really a factor there. It was just a run I would get off. I mean, going into the corner, I would get such a huge run and just nothing to do with it. But if I got the car high, the car wanted to spit sideways. And if I can try to adjust to it, but it's a fine line there up top. But after about 25, maybe 30 laps on the tires, I was able to make that line work.
Well, you know what they say, loose is fast, right?
Yeah, but I rather not junk the car. I've been having some bad luck here. I'm sure you've all seen it. It is what it is. I thoroughly enjoy it. So
Well,
the racing's good. The competition's good. I love it. It's is what it is.
Well, it was a heck of a race. You did have a little bit of bad luck when that yellow came out. We were both wondering if you were going to be able to sort of pull off the upset with that fuel mileage game, but we just didn't get there. But it was a great race. Congratulations on your third place finish. Got anybody you want to shout out to?
Well, Rick, I didn't expect you in the broadcast booth.
Me neither.
Yeah, no. As I like to shout out to guys Area 51. iRacing. This setup is quite different than we ran here last time. It brought a new flavor to the table. The setup did. It had its moments. Some people handled it very well. And a shout out to all the guys in the league tonight. They drove magnificently. It was just awesome that they kept clean and green for about 85 laps. It was pretty awesome. Oh, yeah, and shout out to my parents in Florida. They'll be coming back up northward in about a month or so. They're enjoying that warm weather.
Are they watching?
Oh, yeah, they're watching. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Yeah, they watch it.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, they're up next to the Gulf Coast. They're enjoying Florida, so
that's great.
I rather not bug them. You know, I don't call them from time to time, but you know what I mean.
They were cheering you on.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, great job tonight, Matt. Like I said, I'll say the fuel mileage, I think Rick and I were in the same, but we were definitely hoping to see that one play out and just see what it would have done, because obviously we knew if they were going to try to make it to the end, Andrew and Scott would have to really back it down to run those fuel numbers, so whether or not you could close the gap. It was going to be a fun battle to see at the end, but I mean, we definitely saw some other battles there at the end, like I said, notably you and Craig going after it those last 10, 15 laps. That was definitely some great racing between you two there.
Yeah. You know, just before I go, I wish I would have done that like 30 freaking laps ago. I was so mad after I did it. I'm like, oh my God, I would have had second. Oh,
you mean the outside pass?
Yes, I would have been close to Scott. I know Scott is a pretty aggressive driver, so I'm happy for him as my teammate, and he finished second. Big shout out to him, guys. Take care. You have a good night. Love you all.
Thanks very much.
You too, Matt.
Again. Yeah,
say if Rick doesn't have a job in the booth, say maybe he's got some crew chief work in his future. So say get your wallet though. I heard he's not too cheap though.
I already got my crew chief. It's you. You're excellent at it.
Well, say I'm usually stuck up here in the booth. So say if I got Steve with me, I say you have to pull in Rick, and he can work some numbers for you.
Oh, big shout out to Steve. Steve, wherever you are, I love you, brother. Fight on.
All right.
Take care.
Great job, Matt. Good job, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That was a fun interview. Matt Wagner's always a fun interview. Like I said, he's one of the most chill guys that I've ever raced with.
Oh yeah, no, Matt's always a blast. He's always a fun interview. This guy as well, though, Scott Rankin, he's always a blast to have interviews with.
Oh,
I think the first thing we got to congratulate you on, Scott, is that your internet survived. You made it to the end. That was the joke, kind of going into the pre-race. Was all right. Let's see if everything can hold on, because we mentioned obviously the weather out in your area in Australia. So like I said, hopefully everybody's doing okay and safe out there. But man, I mean that was a battle that you had there. You were able to hold Andrew. I'm sorry, at bay there for a while. But then just that pit stop cycle, he was able to jump out in front of you, and then Andrew doing Andrew things. I mean, he just kind of took his toys and ran.
I mean, I was able to hold him at bay because he let me. That was the only reason. Dude had so much pace tonight. He nailed it. I mean, we were just talking about it in the post race there about bars and jacker settings and what we were doing with the cars around. The guy, he just said he's a short track specialist through and through. And I mean, when you come to Richmond, you come knowing the walls are only a few... Man, I don't want to use American terms. I'm going to have to. A few inches away at any time. I want to say a few centimeters away, but hey, I'm in the wrong country for that.
Hey Scott, did you happen to find out what the bars in the weight jacker was?
I didn't from him. We were literally discussing that when you guys moved me out.
We want to know.
Andrew and I were going to have to talk that out. I mean, I was at 4-1. Did a lot of I did a lot of focus on qualifying running. Towards the tail end of practice, had some issues. There's been an iRacing update, so I had to update my graphic settings and whatnot to get that all down to where I wanted. My FOV was all out, so I've been playing a lot of Gran Turismo 7 the last couple of days, so my actual understanding of how to drive cars and iRacing is not really there. But yeah, look, I want to send this one out. There's a lot of families doing it hard in Australia at the moment. Pretty much the highest flooding that my hometown region has ever seen, and then a town just near my hometown, devastation of floods. Basically, their entire main street of the town, completely and utterly underwater. Whole first level basically under. They had floods 2 meters above their previous historical record, and for you guys over there, that's 6 feet higher. That is one whole person higher than their previous record, and it is just devastating for that. And that's actually the same town that I bought my pedals from. So, I couldn't do it without support from guys out at HRS Sims. They may not be a personal sponsor of mine, but they're doing it tough at the moment. And yeah, so look, when I said that I didn't think my internet was going to hold, that's why.
Well, yeah, obviously there's a lot of chaos going on in the world, everything but with COVID and now the Ukraine and what's going on down there in Australia. And these people are in our prayers, obviously. And we were talking about me and Gael earlier, how sim racing is just a wonderful way to sort of get away for a little while and just take a break and just escape from all of that madness.
Yeah, and it's awesome, and then the best part is particularly it's something I preach about quite a lot with this league as well. I mean, you've got Andrew come in straight away, and he was like, post race, come here, we want to touch front wings on the cars. It's a form of celebration within iRacing, so we did that post race. It was really good to see him get a win in the league and whatnot as well. But then we're talking about these sorts of things, Craig Forsyth, Nick DeGroot, these guys that whilst we're on the track, we're competing side by side, wheel to wheel, hard as you possibly can. It's about the fun of it. It's not about the competition. It's not about winning. There is nothing about this league that is go out there and win. I'm in a lucky position to be competing at the top in a championship contention, but I'm just here for the fun of the racing, and there is no other league like this league that I've ever run in, and I cannot say enough to both Gael, yourself, Matt Wagner, all the guys that run everything to do with Area 51, because yeah, look, I mean, things may be tough over here at the moment, but this is what I do to unwind and to learn. When I started here, I was a back of the pack driver, and within 6 months, Mac Wagner's got me to where I am now. So, and that's come from drivers within the league.
Well, that's quite a compliment coming from you, Scott, considering your considerable ability yourself. So, myself and everybody else that you mentioned, and the whole league, really appreciates a comment like that from you.
Dude, what a race though tonight. That was absolutely epic. I mean, I had so much fun.
That was great. I wanted to ask you, you were leading from the start, and then Andrew Wood started to run you down, and I was watching the line you were running. You were running sort of mid-groove, and he was running down in the bottom, and he kept reeling you in, and I'm wondering to myself, why isn't Scott feeding him that dirty air? Why isn't he going to the bottom, and giving him that dirty air? But you were committed to the middle of the racetrack.
It's where I felt comfortable. Richmond's to me is very similar to Bathurst, a Mount Panorama track, in that it's a commitment track. And a lot of the short tracks are, but Richmond I think more so than the others, just due to the weird layout of the front stretch. It's actually not straight, it's curved the whole way around. So actually picking your marker, sometimes when you're going around here, those red and white stripes, they can actually make you a little bit dizzy, which actually started to happen towards the tail end of the race. So it's a commitment track, and the setup tonight was really antsy on the rear end. We saw a lot of drivers struggling with the rear end. We had a look at Nick DeGroot, unfortunately, before he dropped out before the start of the race during practice. I said he is struggling to hold it, and this is one of the best drivers in the league. Can't really keep the rear underneath him. So the goal was look after the tires, look after the cars, play yourself into the race and see where you are. Honestly, was expecting a caution much earlier than that. So again, that goes to the standard of the drivers that we have in the league. They were just on point, phenomenal, to give us that much green flag running. And look, I mean, it was so difficult out there tonight, just to be close to the lines that he was running. And to be close to his speed, that's an achievement in itself. But man, nothing on the guy. He was showing full-on respect. He said to us in the chat, I said to him, look, why didn't you just send it? Why weren't you aggressive? He said, dude, you're in the championship hunt. I don't want to mess that up. And I said, man, if I was in your shoes, that's my responsibility as a driver to look after my championship, not yours. If you'd have sent it, I would have let you go. So, but that's respect between drivers. And again, oh my God, so good here. So good.
Well, there's a lot of respect amongst the drivers. And speaking of the championship, Nick DeGroot obviously had some terrible luck tonight with his connection issues, and you finished ahead of Matt Wagner. So how's that championship looking for you right about now?
Well, it was actually Craig Forsyth that I needed to beat. So a big shout out to Matty for actually passing Craig in the dying laps there. So that's actually built a buffer. Craig's got a pretty huge margin out in front. So at least that's the starts of trying to run things down. I've just been trying to string podiums back to back to back. I mean, Nick had his issues tonight. It was me last week that was in his position. There was, there's next to nothing I could do. I was expecting my internet to go out, and if it had, again, there's nothing I could have done. It just hands in the air. That's the championship. Nothing you can do about that. Now the fight's back on. Now it's probably going to be me and Nick trying to work together to try and hunt Craig down. And it's set itself up really nicely for the tail end of the season. So
definitely going to be fun to watch.
Oh, you bet. Yeah. So thank you very much, guys. Thank you for everything you guys do. I want to say a big shout out to my sponsors. Flat Out Racing Network and 24 Sim Services. If you guys ever need race control done or broadcasting done for your league, not the Green White Checkers TVs, not a preferred for this league, but just let me know if you need some Flat Out Racing Network coverage done there. Also, my team sponsors, Martin Sports Apparel, they've been phenomenal. Dealing with broken fingers at the moment, and potentially a broken toe. So, it's so good to be able to still drive in relative comfort thanks to what those guys have done for me. And then finally, if you're looking for a cryptocurrency related to simulator racing, SimCoin is the one to go for, and you can actually buy your sim racing setups from Sim Thunder using your SimCoin as well. So big shout out to Indie Autosports and all those guys.
Oh, nice little advertisement right there. And believe me, you don't want to call this guy a Kiwi because he's not a Kiwi. There's a big difference. I just learned that. I just learned that tonight from Scott Rankin. So I just wanted to point that out. Don't make that mistake because
that is like the highest of insults that you can give to an Australian person.
Yeah, them's fighting words.
If you call them Australian, oh man, you're about to get. You don't want to do that. And Maori guys, man, they are just big and beefy. You do not want to mess with a Maori guy.
But no, great job tonight, Scott, and yeah, it was a lot of fun watching you guys battle out. So yeah, points are gonna be fun to see kind of how they shake out because we're right into the thick of it here. I think we got 3 more to go if I'm not mistaken after tonight. So just great job though tonight, man. I say you were definitely right up there all evening long, and I say we got one guy left to chat with, and we'll be definitely helping to chat with you here soon in these future coming races for that championship, man. So good luck there.
Thank you for everything, Gael. Thank you for Rick for stepping in and commentating tonight. Thank you to the league. Thank you to everyone. Thanks to everyone who tuned in too. You guys, the fans, were also so important to this league. Don't you ever stop watching.
Yeah, thanks for letting me know that this was going on tonight, Scotty, because I had no clue.
See you in a car next week, Rick?
I wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for you.
Love when a plan comes together.
Bye, guys.
Take care, Scott. Good job, man.
All right, Scott Rankin, one of my favorite people in sim racing. That guy, boy, he just has an enthusiasm that's second to none. And I'll tell you what, you want to talk about a gift of gab? Scotty's got it.
Oh no, he's one of the most fun interviews to be able to pull off. Like I said, he's just so much fun. Just enjoys everything he does and being in the opportunity to have these things. But I say we got to pull in our race winner though tonight. It's like kind of the part timer here to beat up on the regulars when he gets the opportunity. But let's say Scott was mentioned you were kind of the short track ace. It sounds like tonight. I guess we stole him before we got to give out your trade secrets of the ARBs and everything like that. I mean, we were talking. Was that just something that you found that was like, okay, this is the magic combo? Or I mean, just take us through that run, because I mean, you clawed your way up to the front quickly, and then from there, once you got that lead, I mean, you were just gone.
Yeah. Well, first of all, let me just say that it's disappointing that it's taken this long to get into an interview with you guys. I made the playoffs last year, and I completely bottled every single race of the 4, and that really kind of got me down a lot. I had told you guys that my luck was going to run out, and it did. So when I came back this season, I was trying to come back a renewed kind of guy. I did the first 2 races of the season, same sort of thing, just dumb mistakes, getting into it with Corley. both my races that probably were my fault. So, when I made my comeback last week, I was expecting to, kind of finish up there. But same sort of thing at the end of the race last week. I just kind of made a couple of bad decisions in dirty air, and I couldn't get the finish that I really wanted. But I saw Richmond was on the schedule tonight, and I said, yep, here's my shot to shine, as long as I don't do the same kind of thing and just mess up the race like I have been doing for the last 6 months or so. Qualifying didn't really go my way tonight. I really feel like I kind of maximized the qualifying setup quite a bit, and turns out I took too big a bite out of the apple coming to my my hot lap. So I hit the white line in turn 4, went up and hit the wall and crossed the line, so my qualifying was dead. So I had to start in the back.
And you worked your way up to the front.
Yeah. I mean, so my mind quickly switched to, great, I'm sitting in the back of the field now. What's going to happen in turn 1, especially especially from what I was observing in practice. I'm going like, this is going to be an absolute mess when I enter turn 1 and 2. So green flag came out, and I intentionally stayed a little bit back just to let it all unfold and hopefully sift my way through. But it turns out everyone did a great job getting through the first lap. A huge door opened up for me at the end of lap 1 and turn 3 and 4 with the cold tires, which is a common thing in this car. You get to turn 3 and 4 on any track, and everybody pushes up the track. So I made sure to plan for that, and I picked up 3 spots right away in turn 3 and 4 when everyone kind of pushed up the track a bit. And from there, I knew it was time to go to work. Did a bunch of different things in practice, trying to make the car a little bit more suitable to how I drive it. I really honestly didn't veer much off of what the stock setup was for these guys. I clicked my rear ARB down to 1 from 2. But honestly, the big thing with this car is on these short tracks, the optimum fuel mix of Fuel Mix 1 does not work as well as you think. So I ran a lot of that. So I ran Fuel Mix 1 when I was trying to get through the field just to make sure I can get by the guys. But after I pit, I knew the fuel was close, so I kicked it down to Fuel Mix 4 and did a lot of lifting. And I noticed that Scott was barely closing on me. So I knew that if I kept doing those slow laps when I was behind a lot of those lap cars, just, kind of taking my time to see when they messed up so I could pounce. I was in no rush to get by those lap cars. I knew that I was doing the right lap times. And then after that last caution, when I did the fast lap of the race, I was in mix 3 for the last 38 or so
you
laps.
Did the fast lap on mix 3?
On mix 3, yep.
Jeez Louise, and you were leading the race too. You were in clean air. That's incredible.
Yeah, so mix 3 is, so Fuel Mix 1, 2, and 3 are kind of similar in some aspects, but mix 3 definitely helps you out over that bump in turn 2.
Yeah.
So you're punching the throttle down, which is what a lot of these guys are doing. In mix 1, you're kicking up the RPMs right away, but if you're in mix 3, you're kind of stalling that a little bit, so you can kind of plant yourself right over a certain part of the track to get over that bump in a way that's not upsetting the car too much. So so mix 3 was the way to go on this track, and that's kind of one of my secrets. I have a couple more, but I'm not going to release them. But
no, release them. Come on, release them.
No, I'm sorry. I gave you what I wanted to give, and everyone that's listening is now going to know. I talked to a couple of guys after the race, and I said, try mix 3 and tell me how your lap times are. The thing is that you're just off throttle so much on this track, and the aim is to get right on the yellow line, no matter what it takes. So no matter how fast you're going down the straightaway, if you're off that bottom line, you're losing lap time. So mix 3 helps you in that it gets you down there and kind of lets you hook that bottom line, and that's kind of how it goes.
Okay, wait, let me write this down. Richmond.
Yeah, so let's make some notes here.
Mix 3. Okay, got it.
But yeah, that was an impressive showing tonight, Andrew. Like I said, I mean, to work your way from the back to the front as quick as you did, and then like I said, then once you got the lead, just kind of stretching it out there. And I said that was our big question mark too, is the fuel numbers that you had mentioned there, that you were able to run that mix 4, and the fuel numbers are looking good to make it to the end. Because I mean, at that point, we're like, all right, well, he's gonna have to 2-stop, and Matt's gonna be good to go to the end. Of course, that yellow kind of changed everything, but it sounds like you kind of had all plans covered there, depending how that race unfolded.
Yeah, it was definitely kind of it was going to be close, especially like if I had to keep running that lap time for the rest of the stint. So if Scott got some clear air and he got up to me, then it might have been a different kind of scenario. But I felt like I was getting the lap time and the fuel number that I wanted to make it to the end there. So yeah, I would have liked to see it play out that way because I would have liked to see what the exact scenario was there. But
yeah, we wanted to see that too because you pitted earlier than Matt Wagner. I thought Matt Wagner may have been in the catbird seat, and I said that during the race. Matt ended up, I think he was about 12 or 13 seconds behind you after the exchange of pit stops. But Matt had pretty good pace, and he was on fresher tires than you, and you probably had to dial it back where Matt could probably turn it up. So were you thinking about that after your stop and then his stop, knowing where he was and he was on fresh tires?
Yeah, definitely. I knew if I was going to make it to the end, I had to hit that number every lap. It's not like I could hit that number for the first 20, 30 laps of the stint and then just kind of go full bore if he was challenging me. So, yeah, it would have been very interesting to see, especially when the caution came out too. I sat there going, you're in the worst spot being the leader because if you pit, everyone's going to stay out and you got to do it all over again. So I really didn't quite know what was going to happen after the caution. So I was a little bit upset about it. But yeah, it seemed like everyone just came in to grab some fresh rubber.
Well, you were fast as heck. You were smooth as heck. And you finally had a little bit of luck go your way.
Yeah, it's been quite a while. I debuted in this league at New Hampshire, which is another short track that, I kind of came out of nowhere and surprised a lot of guys and kind of pulled myself up there. But, the short tracks just tend to be my thing. And I got to work a little bit more on strategy for the bigger ovals and stuff, which has kind of caught me out for the last couple of races.
No, so it was an awesome job tonight, and yeah, I mean, not a surprise to see you up front though. I was saying they said maybe not feeling like you're there on the speedways, but would not be surprised to see you in the thick of it. I say when you're able to make, I know unfortunately can't hit them all, but it's definitely always a pleasure to have you with us here in these races, and says just steps up the talent level of the field even more so. But before we let you go though, Andrew, definitely want to give you the floor for any thanks and shouts like you for that win this evening.
Yeah, want to shout out Matt and Jim, for doing all they do with this league. And my few appearances here tend to be very enjoyable. So I'm happy to be a part of this league, despite some of my own failures and such. But it's a good time nonetheless. And of course, thanks to you guys. And Rick, man, I haven't seen your name in a long time. So thank you for just randomly appearing here in my interview that I didn't even know you were going to be a part of. So.
You could thank Scott Rankin for that one. He jumped in my Discord room earlier and we started talking and he told me he had a race to do tonight. I'm like, oh yeah, where at? And I said, no kidding. So I jumped in the in the chat there and I told Gael that I'm here. And if there's a way to send me an invite, I'd be more than happy to join him in the booth because I knew he was all alone. So everything worked out.
I think I could speak for Nick here, if he's listening, saying that you are the guy to beat at Indy Fixed at Indianapolis. You are unstoppable, that place. And it's always a pleasure when I see you in the split and going like, how is he going to beat me this time?
Oh, jeez. You're very kind. Very kind. So is Nick. That's a heck of a thing for a guy like Nick to say because he's one of the fastest guys and the most cunning guys that I've ever raced with.
I can agree with that for sure. But it was good. It's good. I can't wait to listen to you in the booth and see what kind of interesting storylines you bring. But yeah, Gail, thanks for broadcasting as always, and I look forward to the next one. Hopefully, I can make the final 3 races of the season.
Hope so. Hope to see you.
Yeah, it's always fun to have you, man. But yeah, enjoy this one, Andrew. And yeah, looking forward to seeing you as much as we can take advantage of getting you over here, man. So, but yeah, enjoy this one. Look forward to seeing you again soon, though.
Thanks a lot, guys. Take care.
Congratulations, bud.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right.
That's our race winner there, Rick. And yeah, I mean, he's spot on. I mean, you hopped in here and say you didn't skip a beat. I mean, I know you probably know these cars like the back of your hand, but I mean, yeah, it's definitely really, really grateful for you to hop on and help me out here because yeah, you can do these things on your own, but it's always fun to kind of share it with somebody and kind of get that back and forth going. And yeah, you were really, really good here tonight. So definitely missing Steve as always do. So he's always a lot of fun to do these things with. But I say he's gonna have to watch out though, because you were spot on here tonight.
Well, I'm happy to do it, my man. Believe me. You know, it's a lot easier and it's a lot more fun when you know the guys that you're calling, because I've raced with a majority of them, not all of them, but I've raced with a majority of them. And when you know them, it's just there's so many more things that come to mind. And you know, I feel for those who broadcast and they're all alone, because you know sometimes you just don't know what to say. But then when you have somebody to bounce off of the conversation, you just kind of go back and forth. It makes it a lot easier. So believe me, more than happy to do it, especially for this group, because great group of guys, and I've raced with pretty much all of them.
Yeah, no, it is a really good group of drivers, and that's what's made it so much fun to do as well. Between this series here on Tuesday at the Indy, and then of course the Super Speedway stuff we got on Thursdays and Sundays as well. So, yeah, it's a great mix of drivers over here with Area 51. And of course, Dark Horse, that partnership they've got going on, which say we'll see. I don't know if you'll be hopping off or hopping in the car here tomorrow night. Say hopefully you get to join you on track, and say maybe we can learn a little bit from you over the course of that practice session. If so.
I don't know what you're going to learn from me, but this is not my favorite place. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be here at the race tomorrow for Dark Horse. I'm looking forward to it. I love the DW12s. I love when it's 100% fixed and you don't have to worry about, oh, well, he's got the weight jacker and the bars. He's got it better than I do. I want everything to be 100% straight up equal. That's where you know, if you have a successful night like that, that is where it feels the best, you know, when it's 100% equal. For me, anyway.
Good job, Rick.
Oh, thank you, Matt.
Yeah, I went back and listened.
Now
I believe we're still on the air, aren't we?
No, you guys are off.
I think we're still on. Either way, it doesn't matter. I say Matt gets to share the booth with me sometimes too over on the Sunday side as well. But yeah, man, like we said, Matt, the great recovery for you tonight as well to still get that top three. But yeah, I mean, just a lot of fun with you guys though. I'll say we get to do some more racing tomorrow night with those, like you said, with those DW12s back here at Richmond. It'll be fun to see how they compare us, and that'll be some of these things like the Matt Wagners and Nick DeGroot can kind of be like, okay, yeah, IR18 did this, I did this to compensate. DW12s, they said there's no buttons, there's no DOMs, all you got is brake bias. So it'll be fun to see how those things compare.
Did I miss you wrap up this show?
No, I think, well, unless something broke on my end, I think we should still be rolling. So I don't know. We'll find out.
Okay.
But with that, so we'll turn that into the wrap up though. So, but yeah, I do want to thank everybody for watching, for supporting us here at Green White Checker TV. Like I said, Rick, thank you so much for hopping on. It was a lot of fun to do this with you.
Thanks
Steve,
for having me, buddy.
Oh yeah, anytime, man. And so yeah, Steve, miss you, but looking forward to having you back here as soon as possible. And yeah, we'll be back on Thursday night. We'll start playoffs for the Super Speedway Truck Series. I'll be starting off at Daytona and then doing the same on Sunday night for the Super Speedway Xfinity Series. So Matt, looking forward to having you over there on Sunday. And until next time though, thank you all so much for watching, for supporting us. Like I said, Rick, Matt, thank you guys as well. It's always fun to do this with you. We'll be back on Thursday night. Until then, have a good evening and take care. Have a good night.